Hello, this is Red Racer again, and today we have plenty of news to go over, so let's get to it. Article links are in description. Okay, so the first article says that Capcom asked Nintendo to increase the Switch's RAM to 4 gigs. So basically, when Capcom was developing the RE engine, which runs Resident Evil 7, Nintendo was trying to get feedback from not just them, but other developers. And Capcom, wanting or thinking about potentially getting that game on the Switch, told Nintendo, hey, we don't know how much, they didn't say how much RAM they were initially going to give the Switch, but they told Nintendo, hey, you guys need to give us at least 4 gigs of RAM. And that's what we have now. So if you want to thank Capcom for that, go ahead. So let's say, worst case scenario, Resident Evil 7 does not come to the Nintendo Switch. Does that mean that Nintendo just wasted their R&D and RAM? No, that's actually a good thing. Because of this, even if Resident Evil 7 doesn't come to the Switch, Nintendo is a better console for it and can now have potentially other games that would have otherwise not been able to run on it had they not upgraded the RAM. So, Capcom has not been able to get the engine work successfully, or at least 100% in both portable and dock states. So they're looking into it. But it looks like they're trying to get Resident Evil 7 on the Switch. So that's good. Next article is GameStop executive says the Nintendo Switch will have supply issues until 2018. This is from Business Insider. And here's a little quote from the article. Despite Nintendo reportedly doubling production from 8 million to 16 million over the next financial year, video game retailer GameStop has said it expects supply shortages until at least 2018. He added that he anticipates GameStop will be chasing supply this entire year. That's both good and bad. Good for Nintendo that they think that they're very popular. Of course, GameStop could just be saying this because they're losing stock value, but let's assume that they're right and that Nintendo is successfully selling a lot of consoles. And hopefully Nintendo can keep up with demand. And I hope that's the case. Hopefully they can keep this momentum going. Next article: why Nintendo Switch games are ending up more expensive. This is from Eurogamer, and basically a quote from the article is from a developer saying, "We set prices for our products based on the costs of development and publishing for each specific platform." What this means to me, it means that they don't feel as confident with Nintendo yet because of the Wii U, so they're maybe a little anxious about releasing their games on the Switch. And the Switch just came out, so let's say they did sell already 2 million consoles. At the most, you can only sell 2 million copies of your game. Whereas PlayStation 4, I think last time I checked was like 55 or 50 million, whatever it is. You have potentially more customers, right? But hopefully this will subside once Nintendo gets a bigger install base, and maybe the price gap between the Nintendo Switch version of the game with PlayStation or Xbox will go down to 0, and hopefully the same game will cost the same on all platforms. The next article is a little bit related to the previous one. It's called "Another Third-Party Switch Game Causes Uproar." I know it's very clickbaity, but it talks about how the cart version of Lego City Undercover needs a big install. So basically, Lego is being sold on the Switch. It comes with 7.1 gigs of data on the cartridge. Once the user gets it and puts it inside their Switch, they are prompted to download 13 gigs or have 13 gigs of storage available for game download and install. Basically, you're not giving them the whole version of the game for whatever reason. You're making them download it completely. Now, why is this good or bad? Well, from the previous article, we already know also that the game cartridge comes in different sizes from 1 gig to 32 gigs. As you get more storage on the cartridge, the cartridge goes up in price. So they're thinking that Lego is doing this. They're just selling you basically, actually potentially they can sell you an empty cartridge, right? Although that'd be a waste of a cartridge. And then they just make you download the game, which sucks because now if you didn't want to get a digital version, you kind of have to. So you need that room in your Switch, and the Switch only has like 25.9 gigs available after the OS on it. So then you have to download 13 gigs, and you have to install it. So now you're down from 26, so now you're like 13 gigs. So that's basically half the storage capacity of your Switch. So basically you do need to get a micro SD card, even if you didn't want one. So why are they doing this? I think, well, the cartridge, as we said before, the cartridge gets more expensive as it goes up in storage capacity. And so they're saying, okay, we'll give them a small file on the cartridge, and then they'll download the whole thing, and we can save money with the cartridge, and they'll just have to buy a micro SD card. Okay, but if you think about it, then that kind of defeats the purpose of buying a cartridge. However, when you buy a PlayStation or an Xbox game, you have to come home and install it like it's a computer. So basically it's the same thing. So I think the only reason why people are getting upset is because now you are required to get a micro SD card instead of just having the internal memory. So the article goes on to say that people buying physical to save on downloads and memory are still getting screwed. So that is partially correct, but you can see why they're doing it. Yeah, that sucks. Alright. The last article I want to go over does have something to do with video games. First,